Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy So, and welcome back to the channel for another episode of OnlyPhans,
a Dolphins post-game show where we recap the game and react along the way.
This week, we cover another victory for the Dolphins as they beat the Patriots 34-15 at home in order to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button, and most importantly, hit that notification bell so you get notified when we drop hits like this.
It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go!
Fans up in the building, rep the gear from toe to ceiling. 305 stays on the brim, by 95 we popping wheelies. On the way out to the rock, time to see the trio fly. OBJ, Tyreek, and Waddle, speed and swag solidifies. Tools, Babby in the pocket, got my D coordinating. With the Weaver operating, on the sideline formulating. Strategizing for that dub, let's get A-Train on the track. Chubbs and Ramsey, Phillips healthy, boy, we bout to crack some backs. Time to change the narrative, F off with all due respect. Criticism at its finest, break the cycle down the stretch. Top dog offense in the league, let's keep it going postseason. Bring that heat in cold weather, that's a Dade County reason. OnlyFans, presented by Sports with So-So. Presented by Sports with So-So.
That is now 3 straight victories for your Miami Dolphins. This latest one, 34-15 against the Patriots at home. And like we said at the top, man, we really needed this one, right? There could have been zero doubt about this victory. We needed to go out there and put out a really good performance, albeit against a bad team, right? But if you're talking about building momentum, building confidence, building all those positive things in order to make a playoff push, this is what this game needed to be, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I know what everybody's going to say, all the haters out there. This is just another, sub 500 team win. You guys can beat the bad teams, but you can't do it against the good teams. Well, unless we beat the bad teams to get our record where it needs to be for a chance at the wild card, we're not going to get a chance to beat the good teams. So
for sure,
this was crucial for us, especially a division game, which man, you never know how they're going to go. They could be a dogfight. They could be a real gruesome, hard fight. This one wasn't that so much. We had kind of a field day, but it could have gone either way. It could have been a way tougher matchup than it ended up being. But I'm glad that our boys were able to show out at home for the fans.
Especially the way the game started, right? Like it went 0-0 into the first quarter. Neither team could really get what they wanted out of their long sustaining drives, right? Because the Patriots had a very long drive. We were able to get that stop, turn over the ball, and then boom, same thing with us. We get the ball rolling, get rolling, and by the time the first quarter ends, there's no points on the board for either team. And it was like, well, man, is it going to be one of those ugly type of games? But then we saw something that we haven't seen that everybody's been waiting for. We saw Tua finally click with Waddle, and those boys found a good rapport quick, early. He was able to catch him in stride plenty of times, right, where Waddle can catch the ball, run upfield. And we needed this performance from Jaden Waddle, you know what I mean? Because, like, we were asking literally last show, like, where's this dude at? How are you not, calling for the ball? How are you not telling to when you're open and demanding the ball a little bit more as a number 1A wide receiver, right? And this week we saw that. We saw that in the performance, and it was good to see because he drove us straight down into the red zone.
Yeah, he had the best game of the year.
Yeah.
For the Dolphins, as far as his performance for the Dolphins this year.
8 catches, 144 yards, man.
And that was on 9 targets, I want to say.
Yes, sir.
I think he only missed one of them.
Yes, sir.
There was one there that was a little sketchy that they challenged, and they ended up not reversing it. It ended up standing as a catch. And then he was able to, I think later on in the second half, was it maybe that he was able to get it in the end zone.
Yep.
But yeah, the resurgence of Jalen Waddle was big this game, man. And then we just saw the continuation of what's been the domination of Jonnu Smith. I don't know what it is about Jonnu, but Tua loves throwing it to him right now.
You know what it is? I think that this offense is just built for a good athletic type tight end, right? To come in and be in positions where when you catch it, you can turn around and either run or at least break the first tackle that's on you, right? Because if you look at the type of routes that Waddle runs, Hill runs, Malik Washington, any one of these guys, right? Mm-hmm. Even Odell Beckham, it's always like in movement towards up the field. Tight end position is that one where he's actually just running little hooks, running curls and stuff like that, not necessarily running fast slants. So that gives John 2 things, in my opinion, right? An opportunity to make the catch, secure it, and then once he turns around, he has that big-ass body to use as a freaking, bowling ball and get forward momentum. And he broke like two, 3 tackles today after his catches. And look, he gets again on the score sheet another touchdown. Right, that's 4 touchdowns in 3 weeks. Obviously, this guy is a big part of this offense, and it's like I said, I think the playbook is built for that position to have success offensively. Yeah. And the only difference why it stands out to everybody else is because he does his job when it comes to blocking, right? Jonnu Smith is one of those guys that's going to use his big frame, use his big body to not only set up the block, but also set up his routes, right? Because once he gets engaged in blocking, gets off, now he's wide open.
Yeah, and he's a weapon.
He's a weapon. Let's talk a little bit about the stuff that didn't go too well, right? And we'll save the good stuff for the defense later. I want to talk to you about Achane and the running game, right? Because you and I were texting back and forth before we hooked up to watch the second half of the game. And what we both told each other, right, was like, all right, we really need to start running the ball more. We really need to start running the ball more. And when we looked at the totals when the game was over, when we talk about 24 carries as a team, that shit gives me a little bit of like, queasy feeling, because it's like, all right, against these other opponents, especially Thursday night against the Green Bay Packers, when it's cold, we're going to need to run the ball. And we're going to need to run it effectively.
Facts.
How are we going to do that? You know what I mean? And this game was one of those games where I'm like, let's just pound these guys. And we didn't really see it, dog.
We didn't. 24 total? How many did Achane have?
He ended up with 10 carries for 32 yards.
I mean, dog, he had a day. He had two receiving touchdowns.
Yes.
A bunch of catches and stuff, and he was pretty effective in that sense.
Yes.
But that guy is way too explosive for us to not be giving him 15 touches a game rushing the ball.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just like, the selfish, like, oh, if you have him on your fantasy team, you want to see him do well.
Who cares about that?
Because that's obviously the least of anybody's worries. But it's a matter of like the game management, the clock management. You know what I mean? Being on the field a lot longer, not having to rely on Tua throwing the ball 40 times.
Yeah, we got to touch on that too.
Which is that's a concern. Obviously, like you're saying, heading into a short week this week, unless that's the logic and the idea of, hey, let's save them because we have a short week. We're going to need to rely on the running back room. But it'd be foolish to think that because we've been waiting to see a heavy run game strategy, and we've yet to see that this season.
And I think that's that falls on McDaniels, obviously.
Absolutely.
Right? Falls on McDaniels, and those are the things that we want to see in his growth as the season progresses. We need to see him get better at the overall game planning, get better at the overall game management, recognizing what's happening within the game, right? 40 attempts for Tua is a lot. Granted, a lot of them were short throws where it's almost like we're running the ball in that way, right?
Sure.
But still, that doesn't become effective in these cold weather conditions. It works here at home, yeah, no problem, but it won't work the same in Green Bay. It's going to be cold. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be windy. That ball's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be different. So those are things that give me pause when it comes to like going in 100% with McDaniels, right? Because right now I'm like 75% because not that he's regressing, but it's like, where's the leap, right, in your game planning? Where's the leap in your play calling abilities? Like, where is that leap?
I think it's gotten better.
Yes, no doubt, but marginally better. If this is a dude that we're gonna say one of his strengths is his offensive creativeness, right, and how to score points in different ways, why don't we see that with the run game? It's obvious that we have talent in the running department. Where's the creativeness there?
I think, and I know I'm kind of going against my own argument here, but I think you kind of answered that already with, some of the play type designs as far as the pass throws.
The short throws.
The short throws that were set up. I mean, look at the 2 touchdowns that Achane had today. The first one he had was, I think that was the screen that was set up.
Yeah.
So he had like a wall in front of him, 5 guys, you know what I mean?
Literally
So get him out in space. Back. You use your weapons on the outside to fake it, and then boom, everybody releases and he literally walks into the end zone. The other one was a complete breakdown of miscommunication from the Patriots defensively, where everybody was dragging across the left, and then Achane just kind of rolled out by himself on the right and walked into the end zone. Yeah. So, I guess that's kind of happening. But yeah, man, I would like to see more of that. Did we have Alec Ingold in this game? I don't think I remember seeing him in this game.
Again.
A second consecutive game where he's out. I think that's also has to do with it because he's a big part of that lead block in our run game and in our schemes and stuff. So, you know, again, we just want to see more of a balanced attack. You know what I mean? If we're talking, you said 24?
24 carries.
And we got 40 pass attempts, like, we could have gone, you know, 30 and 30 or somewhere in that range. You know what I mean? Like, balance it out a little bit more, McDaniels. But I got to give credit where it's due. I do like what McDaniels has been doing, especially since Tua has come back and he has Tua to be able to orchestrate, you know, the offense that he has in mind. And we're seeing that. I mean, bro, they had that one little play to Jalen Wright where he just kind of like fakes and like flips it off without even looking. Like, that's that swaggy shit that McDaniels like comes up with. Like, that's all him. And then kudos to the offense for executing that perfectly, you know, exactly how he has it in mind. So I got to give credit where credit is due. McDaniels has been doing a lot better job as of late.
Nah, for sure. And look, everybody wanted to see points on the board. Yeah. Right? And we got that today in abundance.
Yes.
Right? We got that in abundance.
It's crazy how that first half should have got, because like you said, the first quarter, nothing. And we finished the first half. What was the score to finish the first half? It was like
14-0.
I think because like, we got the ball back there. I think we might have had that turnover.
And then boom, in the second half, 21 points for us.
You know, 15 for them. Definitely saw a lot of points today.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the defense, right? And the great performance that they put today. It wasn't a complete performance, but nonetheless, it was a great performance, right? Because against these bad teams, what we've been calling out from them is make the turnover, make the play, somebody step up, right? And we saw that in abundance today. Sealer, again, showing why we paid him the money that we did, and he keeps outperforming that contract, right? Because this guy, you guys forget, he was on the Ravens practice squad, right? And we've been able to develop this guy and see something in him to turn him into all-pro caliber type player. Calais Campbell played well today as well, but Sealer, man, he really showed out today.
Another guy on that D-line, the rookie.
Chop.
I loved it. Yep, the hammer. I loved it because the announcers kept talking about Drake May and May and how great Drake May is, and Drake May this, Drake May that, and then here comes Chop Robinson and he just sacks him. Yeah. And it was like, oh yeah, we got to talk about another rookie. It's like, come on, man, that's our first rounder right there. Show some respect. I get that the Patriots, you know, might have their guy in Drake May, but this is a Dolphins home game. Highlight the defense and highlight the guy that's coming in that's going to be terrorizing all afternoon, and that's what Chop did today.
And especially with the way that he was doing it, right? Just using his athletic ability over and over again, stunting, rushing, speed, like. Dog, this kid is obviously gifted. He's obviously talented. So it shouldn't be a shock that he can do these things. It's just obviously, you know, for that position, it's going to take some time to come in and figure out your roles, your moves, and how to get to the quarterbacks. But Chop, man, was putting that pressure all day today. Jalen Ramsey, you know, this guy has probably been our defensive player of the year. Another interception, I think, this day. No, he recovered. No, he caused an interception because he put that pressure coming off on the edge. You know, Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator, sent him a couple of times to blitz, put that pressure on Drake May, causing him to throw it off his back foot. I think that's the one that Dobson made the interception on that I was telling you about.
The nice one.
The nice one where he went back and grabbed it with one hand. But yeah, those little things, right? The recovered fumble after Sealer made knocked the ball out of May's hand. Those are the things that we were looking for in this defense. And like, we were asking to see this type of performance from the defense, and they gave it to us, right? The only negative that you can say is that they gave up those two weak-ass touchdowns.
Sure.
Right? The one to the tight end, broken down in coverage. It was like, this dude was wide open. It's like, come on, communicate better, right? And the second one, I felt like the Patriots were still trying to give it all they got, being down 2 touchdowns only. And when they scored that second touchdown, I was like, man, maybe they're giving themselves a little bit more belief. And then boom, we come right back down and we finish off another drive and get another touchdown. So all in all, it was a good defensive performance, but those are little things that I would like to see tightened up, because as we get into these tougher games, right, that we're going to talk about in a little bit, as we get into these tougher games, we're going to need to see a cleaner performance start to finish. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Start to finish.
Yeah, but talking about clean performance, I also want to give kudos, man, to offensive line, man.
Yes, sir.
Offensive line playing a lot better. D-line today had a day, had no problem getting to Drake May and causing pressure, but offensive line was able to keep that same pressure off of Tua. And that's something that, it's easy to get on these guys and bitch about,
right?
The false starts or the holding calls, that bring back big plays and all that. We really haven't had that as of late. Whatever's going on right now on that offensive line is good.
Yeah.
We need that to continue moving down the stretch.
That's a great call, man, because, we were that was one of the biggest emphasis. Like, we really didn't add anything. We didn't add any other big name pieces that were out there for this offensive line. Like, what are we doing? And this unit has really gelled together. Even though they had 2 sacks given up today, both of them were on Tua. Right, one of them he didn't throw the ball away, and then the other one he was trying to outrun a linebacker, which was just dumb. Throw that shit away.
Yep.
Again, those are things that Tua is doing on himself. It's not that O-line is giving up easy sacks. So yeah, it's a great call out right there, man. Great call out with the offensive line. And the defense, we know that they can step up. But they just have a more difficult task now, right? And we've talked about having false confidence, having that false, bravado, heading into an important week, a short week where you need to continue to win, right? You need this win against the Packers on Thursday night. How do we pull that off? Is it us throwing the ball again, or are we gonna see the emergence of a real hardcore running game for the cold weather?
I mean, we got to be as perfect as possible in every aspect, all 3 phases of the game. But I'm curious too, man. I'm curious to see what McDaniel's game plan is, because the Packers are talented, but they're also beatable. Yeah. It's just a matter of what we're gonna do to exploit some of their weaknesses per se. I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one. I did want to ask you, though, before we get back into the next week's game and what we think. We were up pretty decent. We kicked the field goal at the end to go up about 30-something to 14 still or whatever, up a couple possessions. 2 minutes left. Tua was still in the game.
Yeah.
Game's pretty much out of reach for these guys. Did you
what
feel any type of way about having them in there?
Absolutely. It's just another blemish, right? Or another open sore, let's say, on the backup quarterback situation. Skyler comes in for 1 fucking play or 2 plays, and he fumbles the ball and gives it away to give him life. And that's how they scored the touchdown, the second one. Yeah, we need to keep him out there. And at this point, he wants to be out there. He's earning the check. Go play the fucking game, homie. Finish it out. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just another emphasis of why our backup position is so crucial that we can't even close out a game like that.
Do you think we go after Danny Dimes as backup?
Rumor is he's heading to Dallas.
I mean, they need him more. They need him as a starter.
For sure.
But,
I don't think so.
The Dolphins were in that conversation as potentially entertaining him as a backup.
I think I would entertain it, and I'm sure they will too, but I just don't know if they're pot committed right now. I think their focus is solely on keeping Tua up and straight. You know what I mean? And that's where their focus is, because they know if they pay more attention to the second, quarterback, that's a bad sign.
Sure.
So yeah, it was weird, right? It was weird. We both saw it and we were like, still in the game, interesting.
Yeah.
So, but that's also 2 things that also point out there, right? First and foremost, a lack of a running game, right, to close out this game, right, and close out the victories, and B, the lack of the backup quarterback. You know what I mean? To have somebody else go in there, hand the ball off, an extra 10 times and close the game out. Things that we need to perfect this Thursday against the Packers.
Short week, dog.
Short week.
It's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold. It's Green Bay.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, dog. I'm worried.
Yeah.
We're on a 3-game win streak, first of all.
Yes.
So the vibes are at an all-time high right now.
Absolutely.
But we're on the road on Thanksgiving playing a team that traditionally shows up in primetime games. So I'm a little concerned about this one. The defense, I think, we got to shut down the chunk plays, dog. You know what I hate, bro, is those big chunk plays. I saw today that these guys, I don't know what happened, but it was probably first down. They got they got some yardage or whatever. It was 2nd and 8. Boom. They pick up. They get flagged. So now it's 2nd and 16 or some shit. They got pulled back, 10 yards or whatever. And then they run the play, pick up 12, 13 yards on the play. And it's bro, we just gave back up all that penalty yardage, man. We're having a tough time occasionally, stopping the run or making the big stop on some of those drives that they continue to fucking develop for them.
Well, the way that, may hurt us today was by being mobile, right? He was able to extend plays, move out of the pocket, move left and right, find throws, run the ball, get a couple of first downs. We struggle against mobile quarterbacks that can throw the ball downfield. Guess what Jordan Love is?
Mobile quarterback who can throw downfield. And he has weapons. I mean, he has Jaden Reed, the rookie. He has Christian Watson, who's a big target.
Big target.
He has in the backfield Josh Jacobs, who, if I was them, dog, seeing what other teams have been able to do against us,
that guy's going to touch the ball 25 times.
Absolutely expect that.
And we don't have
100 yards on the ground.
We don't have a guy that we can give it to like that, Joel. The
problem is that we can answer with the H-hand.
The problem is that we don't do it.
We don't do it. But I have a feeling like they're going to do that to us. We're going to see a lot of Josh Jacobs in this game, dog.
Let's see. If they can control the clock and keep our guys on the bench, keep them cold, Tyreek cold, Waddle cold, Tua cold, yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup for the Dolphins. And like I said, it's not like gloom or doom to say this, but the season depends on this game, right? If you don't win this game, then you're really leaving yourself with no margin for error the rest of the way. And with games against the Jets twice, Houston, San Francisco, Cleveland, not a lot of room there for you to say like, oh, these are all winnable games.
And talk about the playoff hunt. You have the three teams that are right now in the wild card spot are Baltimore.
Good team, I've heard.
Los Angeles Chargers.
Good team, I've heard.
Doing pretty damn good this year with Herbert.
Good coach.
And the last team that was in the spot was the Broncos, I think, maybe?
That's correct.
Who are surprisingly having a pretty good year under rookie Bo Nix.
Baby.
So, we would need to hope, realistically, that the Broncos kind of falter because I don't see the Chargers could falter. They're the Chargers.
Maybe, but they got a better coach.
I'm not counting on that. So that's one spot already locked up. But so there's two spots that we're fighting for.
The problem with the Chargers is that their issues weren't like on the field as far as like gameplay or whatever. It was more coaching, bad calling, bad decision making, and now they got one of the best coaches in football in Harbaugh. So yeah, there's gonna be an improvement there. So that's what makes the Chargers a little bit more of a sure fact.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So then Broncos, we would need to hope for them to falter and for us to continue to improve. We're a game back, right? I think of the Broncos.
Can't lose anymore, dog.
So
technically we can lose one game.
Thursday,
but
I would say Thursday and every game thereafter is an absolute must win.
Playoff game Thursday.
If you want a chance to continue to play, into the playoffs, it's a must win right now. And I think that they know that. I think that that locker room understands that, and that's kind of how they're playing right now.
For sure, they have to treat it like that, right? They have to treat it like a playoff game because everything that they're hoping for on the playoffs rides on that game and them winning it. So hopefully we can see the Dolphins turn up against the Packers, put in a good performance, and we see the emergence of a cold weather running game, right, where we can use that as the basis or the foundation to beat a good team like the Packers over there in Green Bay, because that's going to be tough, historically tough, especially on Thanksgiving.
What time is kickoff?
I'll tell you right now, 8:20.
So prime right after dinner type
Everybody's
vibes.
watching. Everybody is watching. What are the Dolphins going to do? I don't know, but your boy right here and Joel are going to bring you the post-game show on OnlyFans as we do every single week during the Dolphins season. This is the point where you got to tell a friend.
Hey, to tell a friend that we're all thankful for all of you guys tuning in. We want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving this week, and make sure to tell everybody that you know about this podcast.
Absolutely, and let them know that you're thankful for sharing it, because we're thankful for having you guys here tune in every single game with us throughout this season, and we hope to make it a better outcome than last year, all right? Until then, see you next time. Peace.